Express, the train that connects our businesses and our community with Minister D. Wilson on 1430 AM,
14:30 AM, 105.5 The King. It's your man, Minister D. Wilson. We're inside the Holy Hip Hop Show, but now it's time for the Economic Express, where we bring the businesses and the community together. And I tell you, I am pleased and honored to have an author, an attorney, an advocate, and an agent. She is Ellakisha Kelley. Good morning, Miss Kelley.
Good morning. Good morning.
How are you?
I'm great. I'm amazing. I mean, you got me on fire. I am on fire.
Well, that's what we do here at the Holy Hip Hop Show. We lift up the name of God, and we just love the Lord, and we just love using this platform to share it with businesses.
Absolutely.
Because one thing that Jesus said, he was about his father business. And as black folk, we got to take care of our business.
Absolutely.
I tell people that come up, one of the best books I've read besides the Bible is called The Jewish Phenomenon.
Okay.
7 keys to the enduring wealth of a people. They live by 7 keys. And the second key is you take care of your own will take care of you.
That's it.
So we have to get back to that. We had it at one time, not dissipate, but now with people like yourself that have a business, let's get into it. Let's get into it while you're here. You're a young lady, little girl growing up in Albany, New York. How was it growing up in Albany, New York?
Oh man, it was amazing. You really can't compare it to anything until you leave it, right? So, but being there, it was of course fast paced. You had to make your way, not become a statistic up there. So, but it was beautiful. It's home. It is my home. Very cold.
Yeah.
So came to the South. I was not expecting any snow at all. So I was very upset that I got snow in South Carolina where I first came to the South, and then snow in Georgia. I'm like, come on, I left the North for this. But it's beautiful. It's beautiful, and it's still that aggression and that motivation within me.
So growing up as a little girl up there, what was your thoughts? What did you want to be when you grew up, growing in that atmosphere? What was the thoughts that you had?
I didn't know how to articulate it. I just knew I wanted to empower and make a change. I've always said it since I was young. And there's times where family members said, you're going to be a lawyer. I think because I just talked a lot, they said that too. But that's not something I thought about. I never thought about like being a lawyer. I just knew I wanted to make a difference. Okay. And I knew I probably was going to go into the criminal justice system because I wanted to do preventative measures for our youth. Because I was seeing a lot of things happening around me. With people that was my age, and I think I was just mature in my mind to be able to notice things that was actually happening. So I just knew I wanted to empower.
That's awesome. Awesome. So born and reared in Albany, New York, attended University of Albany, and then you mentioned that you went to South Carolina.
Yes.
How and why did that happen?
Well, so I attended, okay, so let's back all the way up. I had a track scholarship to Seton Hall University.
Oh, wow.
Yes, so I was the track star in high school, and then, of course, there was a lot that I had to learn when it came to the academic side, SATs, all that good stuff. So right before I graduated, I had to hurry up and get all of that done, and then I got a scholarship to Seton Hall University that came with child.
Oh, wow.
So I had a choice to make. I either was going to drop my baby and leave immediately to New Jersey, or I was going to stay with my child and figure out how to make it work. And I chose the latter. I stayed with my child, Albany, New York, and then I was a walk-on onto the track team at the University of Albany. Wow. And I remember hearing I was going to be a statistic because it was already hard to make it past your first year. Here I am with child first year, walk-on track. But I made it all work, went from walk-on to scholarship, and I just knew I needed more just exposure. And so that's why I got a scholarship and I left to University of South Carolina, brought me to the South.
Man, that is awesome. So let's stick in that frame right now. You're young, you're having a child.
Yeah.
You're going through, how did you manage that? What was the support system you had to help you make it through?
Absolutely. So I had support of my child's grandfather, my mother, my sisters, my family just surrounded me. But for me, it's just something I tapped into. I knew there was no other option but to succeed. There was no, I didn't even fathom the thought of what could. It's going to be this one direction. And I just got into beast mode and executed. That's it.
Wow. So your mentality, so what age are you about when this is going on?
I got pregnant 19, had her at 20.
So 19, 20, just coming out of your teens. What motivated your mindset? I mean, I know you can motivate yourself.
Right.
Because David said sometimes you have to motivate yourself.
Right.
So what was the motivation? What things that you, when you were in your lonely time, your quiet time, what was the things that were helping you say, okay, I gotta keep going, I gotta keep going?
My surroundings.
Okay.
So first of all, before my child came, it was my mother and my sisters. I wanted to see if I could contribute to allowing us to see more, see better than what we've seen. You know, some people have not even left Albany, New York. Some people have not left the block that they lived in. So for me, I was just motivated by the struggles of my mom. She's an indie artist. So I grew up in the entertainment industry watching my mom use her gift of voice, hoping to make a better life for us as well. And so my thing was to be motivated to use my gift and my skills. And I had coaches that surrounded her. I mean, I was surrounded by amazing mentors that I picked people, and I was like sponges. And I just wanted more. It was just in me.
That's awesome. You're inside the Holy Hip Hop Show. We're on the economic train with attorney, advocate, agent, and author Ellakisha. I'm gonna get it right. Ellakisha.
Yes. Kelley.
Kelley. And she's amazing. The stuff that I read, I didn't read that part, but I'm so glad that I did. So you went on, did really well in college, and you lettered and stuff like that, and you participated in the 2000 Olympic trials,
yes,
in which you placed in the you were 15th ranked in the world.
Correct.
So what's that feeling like when you now working extremely hard and you've accomplished that first goal doing that? What was that feeling like?
To be honest with you, the feeling I was caught up with during that time was the reason why I'm doing what I'm doing right now. I really didn't get a chance to enjoy all the accomplishments that I was gaining because I was always in fight mode. Either I was in fight mode on the business side, I was in fight mode trying to maintain the family side, and so it wasn't until hindsight that I looked back and was like, wow, look at everything you accomplished. I mean, collegially, with a daughter, you actually was awarded the top female student athlete, so academically and athletically for University of South Carolina. You made history when you were the first woman to win both hurdles, the 100 hurdles, the 400 hurdles, and then you went on and competed professionally. It got top 4 in the U.S., 15th in the world, so I seen that all afterwards. But while I was in it, I was fighting to survive. And I had to learn the business side really quickly, and it's hard to compete as an athlete and really try to manage the business side too. And so I ended up getting really consumed on the business side because I knew it was bigger than me.
So would you say it was a out-of-body experience?
It was absolutely out-of-body experience. Everything was. Like, I was going on a journey, on a ride. It was almost like I was watching myself from the outside in, because I was watching me develop. I was watching what I was overcoming. I was watching what I was accomplishing and what it meant. So it was amazing, but it was strengthening and refining as well.
Awesome. We're with Ellakisha Kelley. She's an advocate, she's an author, an agent, and an attorney, and I'm glad that she's our guest this morning on the Holy Hip Hop Show on the Economic Express. So now, you've done all that in the Olympics and things of that nature. So just what I really want to know, I really want to ask this question. How does the discipline from sports go into your businesses and everything you've done?
It's like breathing. Like, I cannot separate the two. I am motivated. I am disciplined. I work out mentally and physically. So as an athlete, I had to work out physically and mentally, right? I had to meditate. I had to pray. I had to make sure this tempo was right. I do the same thing within my business in order for me to stay sharp, in order for me to, sit across the table amongst a lot of individuals without feeling fatigued, without feeling intimidated. You have to have that confidence. You know that you have to know that you know what you're capable of. And as an athlete, you have to know that. And I bring all of those athletic tools and resources with me everywhere, like breathing.
That's awesome. So what law school did you attend?
I was right here, Atlanta John Marshall Law School.
Really?
Yes.
Oh, that is awesome. So now I read that you're a sports agent, and there's only 5% out of the 830 certified agents, and only so many are female. What made you, and what drew you to be an agent?
Only so many are female, and only so many are black female, and only so many are black female attorneys. So you get smaller and smarter as you go. But I was compelled by my clients, because this is not something it wasn't something that I planned to do. When I was assisting and advising and counseling my clients who was in that arena, they were like, why don't you consider getting your agency certification, because there's only but so far you can advise them, because it's a good boys club. If you're not certified, it's like you can have this conversation but stop right here. We'll take it from there. Give us him. And so I didn't want anyone to stop me. You cannot close a door. You cannot push a chair in. I bring my chair and I open my door. And so I decided to go ahead and take that notorious test, which everybody said, you're not going to pass the first time, and you don't even know about football. I'm like, okay, this is beyond me. Everything I've ever done, same thing with the bar. People said everything I've ever done is beyond me. So I was confident, and I did it for the people who asked me to do it.
Wow. I mean, I got chills in here right now. We're with Ellakisha Kelley. She's our guest today, and we're going to continue to talk to her. Now, in your athletic career, it seems as though you couldn't find the right fit with a coach or agent. So when you reflect on that journey, what was the problem there? What was going on when you couldn't find that right person to put on your team and help you? You went through so many different...
So many things. So it depends on which story I'm telling, during the time or right now. During the time, it was just I couldn't put my finger on the button, but I knew things weren't aligning when it came to the coaching. When it came to the business, I already knew. I don't know, something innate in me knew that I'm a talent and gift, but this is not quite right where everyone's benefiting off of me 3 times more than I'm benefiting off myself 1 time. And then waiting for money, even money that I earn, I have to wait for it and struggle while it sits in somebody else's bank account and they travel. Or if I'm at track meets and I win money, I can't even go pick it up. There was a time that I went to the trials and I had got money just for my ranking. It had nothing to do with my winnings or nothing. This is what I earned for how well I was competing. I went to go pick that check up and they said, I'm sorry, your agent got it. And so I was there at the trials, you know, with no money and very hungry. And one of my teammates, she lent me money. She lent me money during that time to make it through. And so it was just so much, I was like, this is just not right. And so it was hard for me to focus as an athlete, knowing that there was a lot going on business side.
Man, that's kind of crazy. So is that like an unwritten rule that the agent, did you give the power of attorney to the agent to do that? Or how was, when you signed your contract and you didn't know that, how did that?
So it was just both questions you asked. So first of all, you get the contract, right? And there was probably a lot. They give you the contract. If you don't have an attorney, you don't, I mean, what you're reading or looking over or signing, you just want to sign with someone. You're just like, I signed. You know, everybody has this mentality. I signed with the shoe company. I signed with this agent. You don't really look at things, right? And so I received it, and I didn't really look at all the details during that time. And then also to answer your question on unspoken rule, it is too. Like in any industry, that's why they call it industry standard. Industry standard is not law, it's just what's set in that industry. And a lot of times it's set for one side to win. And everybody just rolls with it no matter what side you're sitting on.
Wow, wow. So injuries came in, you had a little financial turpitude. I would like you to explain financial turpitude. I looked it up, but I want your definition of that. And how did you overcome it?
Talking about my injury?
The financial turpitude. You said you had a financial struggle during that time.
Yes.
So how did you overcome that?
Okay, so during that whole entire time, collegiately and even in the beginning during my professional career, I was getting government assistance.
Wow.
And so, first of all, it was very hard to get government assistance, right? But I got with a caseworker who told me, I see something in you, Ellakisha. I don't know what it is, and I'm going to help you the best way that I can help you and your daughter because you belong not stuck. And so my caseworker worked with me in ways that I'm sure that other people probably didn't. So she worked with me to make sure that we ate and it was well. And she knew that it was not something I was trying to depend on, but it was something that was going to, its trajectory for me to go where I need to go. So because of that government assistance, I was able to focus and not worry about where I was getting slighted on different ends as well.
So you went in with the right mentality that this is just temporary for me.
This was temporary because it was already, it felt a certain way to even get the assistance, but sometimes you got to swallow your pride. It was more than about me, it was my child. So I'm that type of person who don't like handouts anyway. I work hard to earn everything. But sometimes when you have people all around you, and even when you're working hard, it got their hands in a pot, it's so hard. So I had to humble myself and look at all the opportunities and resources there to see where it can go. And then that was literally just that. It was just, a stepping stone for me to go to where I need to go. And it was also experience. So now I got full experience dealing with everything, getting government assistance, working hard, doing this. So now when I speak to people, I speak from a place of not books. I speak from a place of I live there.
Awesome. 1430 AM 105.5 The King with Holy Hip Hop Rules. We're inside the Holy Hip Hop Show remix on the Economic Express with Ellakisha Kelley. She's an author, advocate, agent, and author, and I just love talking. I love her spirit. Now, you became a head coach in Division II athletics, but there is still that burning passion of regarding the politics of sports and you want to do something about it. So when did you decide I had enough is enough, and I want to share my experiences with other people so they won't go through the same thing I went through?
And that's exactly when I was a head coach at a four-year university, coaching 4 programs as one woman, coaching 4 programs, men and women's track, men and women's cross country. And so now I got exposure on a different side of business, just collegiately, watching where it all starts before you even get out there in the world, and it continues. And so I really at that time said, you know what? It's time for me to really go out there and help individuals, because it's starting from the foundation here all the way out. And I was fighting for people. I was already doing what I'm doing now without the credentials. I was already advising individuals, you know, business-wise, and knocking on doors and representing them. So I was already doing that, but I wanted to make it official.
Awesome. So now you got everything set up now. And so you got the author thing going on, you're the agent, your advocate. Now you decide to write a book.
Yes.
So what motivated you to write a book? What did you want to accomplish in this book? And then we'll get the title later.
Absolutely. So first, I've been motivated so long to write a book. There's 4 I already had in mind. But this pandemic, that's why I know we find a lot of things that's so tragic and, you know, crazy within it, but sometimes within tragedy, there's triumph. Sometimes you find things. This pandemic compelled me and said, it's time now. Because I started to see where we are actually, it was a huge confirmation where we are lacking. Because we don't have this ownership, because we don't have certain things tightened, we're always going back to a place of dependency, of begging. And I've seen a lot of us in the industry doing the same thing. Some of us being silenced in the industries where we don't need to be silenced, because history tells you we have never been. This is not new. Individuals in music and sports have always been side by side with other activists and advocates. And so when I started seeing a lot of things during the pandemic, I just was compelled. It was insight from the inside out, and I sat down and I went to, I don't know, another place from 11 p.m. to 4 a.m. every day for 3 months. I don't know how. And when I got done, it just all of a sudden felt like oh, how did that happen? And so that's what compelled me. I just responded.
Wow. So the book is called Code versus Code, the street code versus the legal code. Explain the title and why should people read it?
All right, so the street code versus the legal code. Going back to what we just said earlier, there's ways, there's practices that we all follow, industry standard. We just follow them, you know, historically, whether it goes from sampling music and we always in trouble, or we don't read contracts because we just excited to sign, because remind you, growing up in our family, we was just excited for opportunity. And so people say, just go. This is an opportunity, just go. And we kept that same mindset. So the street code is that cultural conditioning mindset that keeps us in this continual rat race of chasing economic inclusion, but never getting sustainability, long-term sustainability and ownership. That's street code. The legal code is, this is how it has to be done. Ignorance is not a defense. If you just don't know,
that's on you.
That's on you, and guess who's going to win? The one who did know. And so in the book, I'm putting it face to face. This is how we're culturally conditioned to think. This is how you'll actually win. And so I'm giving what people normally would pay myself, other attorneys, major legal fees. I was compelled, give it to them. I can only represent a handful of people, but if I can reach millions who can get this and just spark them to just start thinking and asking the right questions and recruiting the right team, that's what I wanted to do.
It's similar to the book, The Miseducation of the Negro by Carter G. Woodson. The same thing. We have to reset our minds.
We have to reset our minds.
And we have to get with people that want to help us and stop trying to think, oh, it's war, it's me. Because I worked in the entertainment business as well. So I know how we just get, oh, I just want to sign. I'm just happy to sign. But you don't even know what you sign. Because your pride doesn't want you to get you to go spend the money to get the attorneys to train you and teach you how to do it. But I'm so glad we have this book, Code versus Code. So I noticed on your website you have courses that said Break the Code courses. Yes. What can a person expect to gain by taking some of these courses? So
what I'm doing with this book, it gives, you cover but so much. So the courses is going to be a continuum. You're going to come there. There's no excuses. I'm breaking down copyright. I'm breaking down contracts. I'm breaking down trademarks in bite-sized chunks. We can constantly watch these videos and learn it. So now you can be adept and articulate in the conversations, but more importantly, like you said, there's no more excuses though. Once you learn, you're accountable. I'm talking about what happens when you don't do this and how it has always been happening with legends, So there's no more excuses of, oh, they got me. You can't keep saying anyone got you, because if you had a contract in front of you and the devil is in the details, you just got to get into the details. And so I'm telling you what you need to look for.
You can't say I got.
You can't say I got. We got to stop saying, because we're just, well, I got, and you're just sitting in the same place. It's time to say, I'm getting mine, not I got.
The book is Code versus Code, the street code versus the legal code. And we have the author here, Ellakisha Kelley. She's an author, an attorney, an advocate, agent, and I just love speaking to her. So where can people purchase the book, and what's the cost of the book?
Absolutely. You can purchase on Amazon, Barnes & Nobles, Books A Million. You can go to my website. So it's wherever major retailers sell books. The cost is $19.99. On Amazon, there's an ebook. I believe it's $9.99. And I'm right now in production doing the audio version. So I'm giving, because I know my target market, I'm giving all avenues. There's no excuse that you don't have time to read, you don't like to read. You can hear it, read it, you can travel and swipe it. So it's going to be in all platforms, on all platforms.
Awesome. In closing, what advice would you give a young lady, because we need to uplift our young women, about fulfilling their dreams? What are some of the things that you can point out right now that they can grasp right now and run with it?
The one thing I looked at is, don't just focus on who you are, focus on whose you are. When you focus on whose you are, and you know that power within you is greater than any power that is outside of you, you don't worry that you're in 3 industries that's male dominated. You don't worry that you're in industries that may be white dominated. You don't worry that you're just a woman. You know that you have insight and you have a call, and you have to tap into it, be confident in it, and go and execute with it. Just know whose you are. Pray, meditate, go within, and then execute.
Man, that's awesome. We're inside the Holy Hip Hop Show, the Economic Express, where we bring businesses and community together, and we're with the eloquent Ellakisha Kelley. It was a pleasure and honor. Give us your social handles, your address, how our audience can reach you tonight.
Absolutely. I made it simple too, because again, I know how simplicity, I know my audience. If you just go to my website on www.allaboutella.com, all my social media handles are on there, from LinkedIn to Facebook to Instagram to Twitter. You just go on that website, you can click any of those icons and bring you to my social media. But if you go to the website, the reason why I call it All About Ella is because literally it's all about me. If you want to know what's going on, where I'm speaking, any events that I'm actually hosting, my book, the Break the Code course I just mentioned, just go to the website and everything is on that website.
1430 AM, 105.5 The King. We're the only station in Atlanta that cares about our community. And we're bringing the community together on the Economic Express. Ellakisha Kelley. It's a pleasure and an honor to have met you, and you're welcome. My casa is your casa. It don't have to be special. You come, because when the Lord blessed us to have this station, it's for the people. It's not for me.
Thank you.
So if you don't, like you said, if you put the information out there and you don't take advantage of it, it's not on me. It's on you. You don't ask the questions. You don't reach out. You don't read. We have to begin to be readers again.
We have to.
We have to. Something about, they said, when you want to hide something from black folk, you put it in the book.
Absolutely.
And I'm starting to believe that a little bit.
Absolutely.
But we got to break that, with people like yourself writing books that's really readable, and they can read it and understand it, because the scripture says, in all you're getting, you got to get understanding. So is there anything, parting words you want to say to anybody out there that you want to just help?
I do. The first thing I want to say, going back, piggyback on what you just said, the way I wrote the book too, you can read it straight through, or each section is standalone. You got copyright, trademark, contracts, right to privacy. So you have time to just go to each section. That's one. And like you said, we have to show ourselves approved. We have to study, and we have to actually do it. And then lastly, be on the lookout for my TEDx talk. I'm going in, I'm empowering, I'm uplifting, and I want us all to be accountable and stop pointing the fingers out when we have 4 more pointing towards us.
One more question I want to ask you. I didn't have this one written down. How important it is to have time alone? What's about blocking everybody out, kids, husband, and finding that me time? How important is that?
It is absolutely important. I do it at the top of the morning and at night. You have to do it, and I still away during the day when I can, but for sure, top of the morning and at night. Because you can't hear the insight. Remember I said you got to know whose you are? whose you are also means that insight is speaking to you and telling you what you need to do. You can't hear that with noise. You're hearing everything else telling you what to do, and you may think that is what you're supposed to do. You need to quiet down and give time to yourself for rejuvenation and also for revelation.
We're inside the Holy Hip Hop Show, the Economic Express. It was a pleasure and an honor to have the Miss Ellakisha Kelley, the author, the advocate, the agent, and the author. Her book is Code versus Code, the street code versus the legal code. You should read it. You don't have to be in this business. You just need to read her book and support her because she looks like us. Just add it to your show. Just pass it on to somebody. Buy it for somebody in the community.